Did you know that every 10 entrepreneurs who launched their dream business, only one is still standing 12 months later? That's right, 90% of startups crash and burn before they even celebrate their first anniversary. But here's what's fascinating. The difference between the 90% that fail and the 10% that thrive isn't what most people think. It's not about funding, it's not about connections, and it's definitely not about having the perfect product on day one. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on what actually separates the failures from the success stories. And at the end of this video, I'll share my powerful startup survival guide that you can download for free. This isn't just theory, these are battle-tested strategies that have helped thousands of entrepreneurs cross that critical 1-year threshold. Here's the brutal truth that most business experts won't tell you. Startups don't fail because of competition or market conditions. They fail because of what happens inside the founder's head before those external factors even come into play. Let me share something counterintuitive. The businesses that survive year one aren't necessarily the ones with the best ideas. They're the ones with the best problems. While everyone else is obsessing over perfect products, successful founders are obsessing over the perfect problems. They're building solutions for issues that keep people awake at night. As a rule of thumb, all businesses should be built around solving something tangible. If you can't explain in one sentence what problem you're solving, you're already in the danger zone. Consider the early days of Instagram. They didn't aim to become the leading platform for all types of visual content. They began by solving a distinct problem. How can people easily share and slightly enhance their everyday photos on mobile? That was their focus, simple, but they addressed it so effectively that their user base grew rapidly, leading to its broader adoption. Now, I'd love to hear what problem your business is solving. Remember to keep it short and simple. You'll find it harder than you think, but it's a great exercise in helping you focus your mind. Drop it in the comments below. My team and I read every single comment, and we might feature some of the most compelling ones in our next video. Here's something the 90% miss entirely. Validating your idea doesn't mean asking your friends and family if they like it. Real validation means finding 10 strangers who will actually give you money for your solution before you've even built it. The 10% who survive don't spend months building in isolation. They get their solution, even an imperfect version, in front of real customers as fast as possible. They understand that customer feedback isn't just useful, it's oxygen. But notice what the survivors do differently. They don't just collect feedback, they obsess over what it actually means. When early Dropbox users complained about complicated file sharing processes, the company didn't just add more buttons and features. They stripped everything back and made it simpler. They listened for what customers meant, not just what they said. Here's the reality check most entrepreneurs need to hear. Your first version should be embarrassing. If you're not at least a little uncomfortable sharing your first product, you've waited too long to launch. The 10% that survive don't aim for perfection. They aim for good enough to start learning. Then they improve faster than anyone else. Remember, we all have to start somewhere. Now, we need to talk about the cash flow conundrum. You know what kills most startups before their first year is done? It's not lack of sales, it's running out of cash while waiting for those sales to happen. No cash, you crash. The survivors are paranoid about cash flow. They understand that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is reality. They build businesses that generate cash quickly, not ones that bleed money for years on the promise of future returns. Think about how Shopify grew. They didn't raise millions and burn through it hoping for future market dominance. They focused on making each customer profitable relatively quickly. That's the opposite of what WeWork did. I've done a whole video on their downfall, which you can watch if you click on the link in the top right hand. We're halfway through this video, and if you're still with me, you're already showing more persistence than most startup founders. Speaking of persistence, the 10% that make it have something I call educated stubbornness. They're flexible about their methods, but inflexible about their mission. Consider how Netflix evolved. They started by mailing DVDs when everyone else had physical stores. When streaming technology emerged, they pivoted their method, but their mission to revolutionize how people consume entertainment remained rock solid. That's educated stubbornness in action. Here's where it really gets interesting. The survivors don't just build products or services, they build movements that people want to be part of. a cult following. Take Peloton. They didn't just sell exercise bikes, they created a community where people could feel connected while working out at home. Their customers don't just buy products, they buy into a vision of what their fitness journey could be. That's how you turn one-time buyers into long-term advocates. Now, I'd love to know, what's the bigger mission behind your business? What movement are you trying to create? Share it in the comments below. Here's the truth about year one survival that isn't taught in business schools. The companies that make it aren't actually obsessed with survival at all. They're obsessed with making something that matters. Survival is just a byproduct of getting that right. While everyone in the 90% is asking, how can we avoid failure? The 10% are asking, what can we create that the world can't live without? The fundamental shift in thinking changes everything. So here's the question that might just change everything for your business. What if your goal isn't to avoid being in that 90% failure statistic? What if your goal is to build something so meaningful that it has to succeed because the world needs it to? Think about that. While everyone else is asking, how do I survive? Maybe the real question is, how do I become essential? Because in the end, the journey from your first day to your first anniversary isn't measured in dollars or users or market cap, it's measured in problems solved and lives changed. As promised, I've created a complete startup survival guide that dives deeper into these principles with actionable worksheets and frameworks. Click the link in the description to download it for free right now. If you found value in this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into building businesses that last. I'd love to hear about the challenge you're tackling with your business. Share it in the comments below. My team and I read every comment, and we're excited to hear about the problems you're working to solve. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.